So I bought 4 of the cheapest DIY kits I could find on Amazon, but I thought they're kind of boring, so I thought I'd make them my way. Here's what it's supposed to look like. Don't worry, we're not doing this. And we're soon gonna find out why it's the cheapest DIY kit, because within the first step, I noticed that these are not the right size. They're supposed to be 2 longer ones instead of 1. But you know what? I make it work. Because if the women don't find you handsome, they should at least find you handy. No, if the men don't find you attractive, they should at least find you adaptive. Ooh, see what I did there? Okay, we're already off track. So I was supposed to wrap the base with this paper, but it was stupid. And so I painted it instead. And now I'm doing the back wall. Did you see that transition? Heck yeah. Double transition there. And then here's the floor. And that's right, you guessed it. The floor does not fit into the base, but that's okay. I adjust it with my handy dandy adjusting knife. Okay, the next thing that needs adjusted is the color, because that was boring. Much better. Okay, let's build the cabinet. And of course, paint it. And you know what? They want you to put these really ugly plates behind here, but that's super boring. So we're gonna go with intestines. Much better than plates. Also, they wanted me to cut plates out of paper. That's not gonna look right. In fact, they wanted me to cut a lot of things out of paper, but I opted to not do that because no. Okay, so we got our back wall and our floor. Now it's time for the cabinet. And look at this. They want us to wrap the countertop with this paper? No, it looks the same. Like, tell me that those colors are not the same. Ridiculous. Although we do need the sink. And then I gotta install the sink in my countertop hole. And then install my countertop on top of my cabinets. But everything's looking a little too clean. You know I like to make things dirty, metaphorically and physically. And look at that, it looks pretty good. So now they want me to add handles to the drawers, which involves removing this plastic on this wire. Okay, first off, how did they expect me to do that without a wire stripper? And second, why didn't they just give me wire without a coating? It's not like we use it later. I am 100% convinced that they did not expect us to actually add these handles because they're impossible. I struggled with these handles so much. I was supposed to put like 7 more handles on, but I opted not to. Okay, now for the light. And Emily wants to help, as usual. Stop it, Emily. I do love that this kit has lights. That's really cool. And apparently Emily thinks it's cool too. Stop it. I don't know what it is about wires and cats, but they love them more than string. Anyway, so now we need a faucet, and I guess we're making it out of this wire and this paper, of course. Gotta cut more paper out and wrap it around the bottom. And then we get these little tiny black beads that I add to the side. It's so cute, but it's not real enough for me, so I had to paint it. And here I'm just living out my plumber dreams. You know, my dreams of being a plumber and not caring what my crack does. Okay, and then now I'm making some flowers. And you guessed it, out of paper that they're making me swirl around, but it looks nothing like the picture. Look at the picture. I guess I lack the flower twirling skills. And then they were gonna make me add these leaves, but they looked really lame, okay? So sue me, I'm going rogue, I'm doing my own thing. Not that I haven't already gone rogue with this project. I mean, I highly doubt that they thought that somebody would splatter, you know, red stuff all over their kitchen. But here I am, and look at this little cup. I'm proud of that cup. I made the little handle and I glued it down, and then there's some red stuff coming out of that cup. Probably what's all over the kitchen. I don't know. Somebody's throwing Kool-Aid everywhere. Speaking of which, we should probably come up with a story for this haunted hidey hole. I guess I'm calling it a haunted hidey hole, even though I'm not technically making everything. I mean, I am making everything, but I kind of feel like I'm cheating because it's a kit. Although I am learning a lot from it. But let's not forget, it is a kit. Speaking of which, it is the cheapest kit ever because look, they only gave me enough wire to do one of these stools complete. I mean, I may have mismeasured somewhere because I am terrible at following instructions. I didn't read any of the words. I just look at the pretty pictures. I also refuse to measure anything in my life. I don't know, me and numbers do not comprehend. And then I figured every kitchen needs a cutting board, so I cut one out of this wood and I paint it and of course add my meat. And then I realized that the kit actually comes with a cutting board, but you have to cut it out of, you guessed it, paper, which I've seen some flat cutting boards before, but not that flat. That would definitely ruin our brand new countertops. Not that the countertops aren't already ruined by Kool-Aid. And then I made a little knife out of shrinky-dink plastic. Also not part of the kit. No, they wanted me to cut out a knife out of paper because how would that cut anything? Except maybe a paper cut. But the kit did include these tiny little forks, which let's face it, I am obsessed with. They are adorable. Anyways, we were gonna come up with a story. I completely forgot. Okay, so at some point this kit makes you add this acrylic box that goes over the top of it. And I get it. It's meant to keep dust off of our kitchen, but they don't know me. I like dust in my kitchen. So I'm just going to include that into my story. Here's what I'm going with. I think that these are little rooms that are housed in like a big room, little like murder rooms where people were, you know, murdered in. But now their lost soul is in these rooms. So some sicko has these ghosts on display, you know, these lost souls. And for a price, you could walk through it and look at all the lost soul rooms, like a weird ghost zoo, you know, in hopes that you get to see a ghost. But he has to torture them in order to make them active. But the glass dome keeps it safe for everybody who's viewing them. So the keeper of these spirits has to go in every day and torture the ghosts somehow. I don't know, probably mentally. And this room belongs to somebody from the, let me think, 60s names. So like Barbara. Yes, this is Barbara's room. Anyways, so Barbara's really angry because her husband wouldn't allow her to get a circle window and she really wanted one. And they got into a big fight and somehow she ended up, you know, not alive anymore. Anyway, so she hates men. And the keeper who keeps all these spirits happens to be a man. And when he went in one night to like torture her with the circle window pamphlet, you know, he was like, you could have this circle window, but you can't. And then she gets really angry. Well, one night she had enough and she got revenge on the keeper of the room. I don't know. Okay, this is sounding a lot like 13 Ghosts. But you know what? I like 13 Ghosts. That was a good movie. Also, I kind of had a crush on that guy, the Scooby-Doo guy. Anyways, I'm done with my haunted hidey hole. I don't know why that was a question. I'm done with my haunted hidey hole. And check her out. What do you guys think? Do you think it's cheating that I used a kit? I did learn a lot. But stay tuned because I have 3 more kits to build. But let's do the final looks on this kitchen. Oh, look at that. And here's the office now. This is a little too quaint for me. So in my last haunted hidey hole video, I did the kitchen, and this time I'm going to do the office. Or I guess it says studio, but whatever. It's an office to me. So I'm just unpacking all the little bags, and I'm just making the base, and then I got to paint it because I'm not putting that stupid little paper on it. Look, they wanted me to do a lot of things in this DIY kit, but you know what? I'm an adult, and I can do whatever I want. I don't have to follow your stupid instructions. What are you going to do? Come after me? I don't think so. You got to find me first, and I'm like a ninja. See, look at my ninja skills. Hi-ya. and then they wanted me to cut out these little panels. I guess to make the wall look thicker. I don't know. But I went rogue and I did real wood for the trim. And then I wanted to distress the wallpaper because, you know what? Nothing is creepier than wallpaper that's falling off the wall. Okay, there might be a few things that are creepier than that because that's like a relatively cheap fix, but you know what's not cheap? Holes in your floor. Oh, now that's creepy. I mean, as a homeowner. And then look at this little shelf that I make. Bam! But then I went to go paint it with this chalk paint. Is that mold? Has anybody had mold in their chalk paint? Ugh, that's gross. But I just ignored it and kept painting because if you ignore your problems, they'll probably go away or be 10 times worse. I don't know. Don't ever take advice from me. But look at these little picture frames that, yeah, I had to cut out of paper. But, you know, it's okay. They make cute little pictures for on top of my cute little shelf. It's so freaking cute. And look at that. One thing that I don't need to cut out of paper is this little Eiffel Tower. Eiffel Tower. But then here's 7 more things that I need to cut out of paper. I think it's worth it though, because look at the little maps and the picture frame and the box. I'm not sure why the side says no bunnies, but okay. All right, I know you're saying that this is not creepy enough, Ashley, and I totally agree. Do not worry. We're going to make this creepy because we're doing a haunted hidey hole, not a cute cubby hole. Although you do have to admit, these books are pretty cute. But I'm going to speed past this because I know you're just waiting for the creepy stuff. Okay, next I need to build a desk. And luckily we have these handy dandy transitions to make it quick. Did you see how quickly I built that desk? And I don't know why I installed the handles before painting, but I guess I like to make things difficult for myself. Anyways, here's my desk. Now let's creepify it because something creepy needs to be in the drawer. Are those intestines or brains? You decide. And don't you worry, I have the best story for this box. One that totally never been told before. It's totally unique, but you're gonna have to wait a little bit because right now I'm making a lamp. Look at that little shade. It's a shady shade. And then all lamps need a light bulb. There's my light bulb with the wires that go through the desk. That's pretty fancy. And then those wires go through the floor. And then I did debate replacing this picture with a circle window, but I'd already glued the wall down and it would be hard to re-glue it. And sometimes I just take the easy way out, okay? I know that the circle window would have made the circle light that came through it 473% better, but it is what it is. Move past. Okay, the time has come, my friend, to talk of creepy things, of hearts and floorboards and intestines and other things. Is that not how the poem goes? Okay, so I'm sculpting this tiny little heart, and can you guess where it's gonna go? That's right, the floor hole. You know, the hole in the floor. Okay, here's my story. So there's this guy, and we'll just pick a totally random name, Edgar, and he is a writer, and this is his office. And one day, he wrote a love letter to a woman called, we'll just name her Lenore. Hold up, look at my little tiny wax kit. My husband got this for me years ago, but I never used it because I didn't want to waste all the little wax pellets. But you know what? You can't take it with you when you die, so I might as well use it. Anyways, back to this story. So Edgar writes the love letter to Lenore, but when he gave it to his maid to mail, she accidentally dropped it behind this bookshelf right here. So he assumed that she had gotten it and just chose not to write him back. How rude. Whoops. Did you see me accidentally cut that? That's okay. A real feather is going to look better anyway. But do you know how impossible it is to get feather fluff out of your studio? It's almost as bad as glitter, but not quite. Okay, so Edgar's heartbroken, right? And then he sees Lenore hanging out with this other guy. So in a rage of madness, he invites this guy over, asking if he knows how to install circle windows. And this guy happens to be a circle window rep. Hold up, look at my little typewriter. Typity type type. So this guy comes over because he's all excited to sell some circle windows. Wish he'd come to my house. And Edgar he unalives him, thinking that now Lenore is gonna love him, but he's got to hide the body, so he puts it in the floorboards. And it's not the telltale heart. I swear, it's not that story. Anyway, so it turned out that this guy was not Lenore's stud muffin. No, in fact, it was her brother, and it upset Lenore so much that her brother mysteriously disappeared that she vowed never to fall in love until she found her brother again. So if Edgar had not done what he did, Lenore probably would have loved him, and this drove Edgar so crazy that he thought he could hear the heartbeat of Lenore's brother in the floorboard. So one night he ripped up all the flooring, hoping that maybe he's still alive under there, even though he knows better. I mean, he knows what he did. But the noise that he heard ended up being floor maggots. You know, in the floor. Ugh. Yeah, I know, it's disgusting. So as Edgar is ripping up the floorboards, the police come by to question him about Lenore's brother being missing. And of course they see all the, the floor guts. And Edgar is in prison. The end. What did you think of my totally unique story that's not stolen from anything? Now that we're done, let's do the final looks. In your mind, run so fast as you can go. All right, let's build this reading nook and not follow the instructions. I know what you're thinking. Ashley, what do you mean not follow these instructions? I mean like this right here. They want me to put this stupid paper on the wooden base that basically looks like, no, get out of here, paper. I'm much too lazy for that. And then I cut out this floor and adhered the floor to the wood. And wait, watch this. Hiya, boop, boop, boop. There's one floor. Next, I'm living out my electrician dreams by making a teeny tiny lamp. And now for the reason why this kit caught my eye, right? It's a half circle window, which is half as good as a circle window. But you know what? I'll take what I can get. However, whoever installed this half circle window did not do it properly because it looks like there's mold and, I don't know, whatever this is, growing on the inside. Was mold in the instructions in this kit? Absolutely not. But I mean, to be fair, is mold ever in any instructions? Are there mold projects out there? Maybe moldologists. Is that a thing? Moldologist? I think it is. Oh, and then they wanted me to put this back on this shelf, but no, I like myself an open concept shelf. Thank you very much. And then we need shelf clutter because I don't trust anybody with clean shelves. That's weird. You should at least have some very weird pictures and rope inside of a box on your shelf. And I don't know why I added a rock, but there it is. It's a rock in a box. Oh, and you don't remember me painting the shelves with flowers? That's weird. I could have swore I filmed that. But I didn't forget to film me making this flower that won't go together right. Like this whole thing was supposed to go in there, but I was also lazy during this part. You know what? Laziness for the win. All right, our shelf clutter is coming along nicely. Now here's me trying to follow the instructions. Emily, get out of there. Yeah, I tried to follow the instructions, but these picture frames were boring. I had to spice them up a little bit. See, look at this cute little spicy bunny. Or does he have spunk? It's a spunky bunny. And then this is just a picture of when that UFO visited the farm that one time, and we took a picture of it. And then our friend Bigfoot here. Okay, let's compare. Boring, spicy. All right, much better. Let's add our spicy okay, that sounds bad. They're not those kind of pictures. Ooh, but look at all these books. And this one caught my eye. Does this not look like Handmaiden's Tale. And I'm pretty sure that this one's supposed to be like 50 Shades of Grey. Instead, it's 50 Shoes. Like, I didn't make these books. They came with the kit. I mean, I could have made my own books. Because did you know that I wrote a book? That's right. I wrote a Creepy Crafts book, and you can pre-order it. Links in my bio. Anyways, on with this miniature kit. So that's right. We got a record player, but these records seemed awfully floppy, and there's nothing worse than a floppy disk. So I found this fake coin and I glued it on. I think that looks a lot better. And then I glued on this bead, which also wasn't in the instructions, and set it on my shelf. Okay, and then the kit came with this bird, but this bird has no beak. What happened to your beak, bird? That's okay. We love you anyway, even beakless. You will not be left out. And I know the lack of skulls in this project was unsettling, so of course I added one. Okay, I'm bored, which means you guys are too. So I'm just gonna speed through this and get to the story, because you know I like a miniature with a story. Are they good stories? No, they are not, but they are still stories. Okay, so since this kit is giving off like 60s reading den vibes, I'm gonna assume that this house was built in the 60s. So we need like a 60s name. Maybe Muriel? Seems like a 60s name. I don't know. Oh, look at this 60s looking chair that I'm building. This stupid chair is the devil. That's right. If the devil was a chair, this chair would be it. I don't know how this kit expected me to build this stupid chair and make it look right. It looks like it was hit with an ugly stick. And I tried my hardest. It looks nothing like the picture. Look at that perfect chair in that picture. There's no way. This kit is lying to us, but that's okay. This is where we go off script, because instructions are for lamey lamos who can do the art better than I can. See, I covered all my embarrassments with string, except this back. Don't look at it. It's still embarrassing, but that's okay, because we're gonna cover it up too. Look, it wasn't worthy enough to be Muriel's favorite chair. That would have been nobody's favorite chair. In fact, that would have been the chair that you would have set your husband, who wouldn't let you get a circle window in. That's what kind of chair that would have been. Anyways, I forgot that this was a story about Muriel. And I guess her husband. Okay. So I guess they owned this house in the 60s in a town in the middle of nowhere. In fact, the town was called Nowhere. Wait, hold on. Who lives in the middle of nowhere with her husband, Eustace Bass, who won't let her get a circle window. But creepy stuff happens in the middle of nowhere, so it's up to courage. Okay, sorry. I guess my 90s is showing. Okay, let's get back to being serious, but not too serious. So obviously this farmhouse was abandoned as a pup. So something must have happened. Emily, stop it. Okay, I promise I'm gonna get through this story. Emily, seriously, I don't know what her deal is. She's making this 10 times harder. Just ignore her. All right, now that we've been distracted about 100 times, I'm going to tell you this story. No matter what happens on the screen, Emily, we're just going to ignore it and we're going to tell the story, okay? Ready? Go. There was a group of governmental scientists that went rogue. I guess it would be called a scientist gang. Or is the technical term for a grouping of scientists a herd? I'm going to go with a herd. Anyways, so this herd of scientists are out in the middle of nowhere, doing whatever scientists do in a herd, which probably included testing out time travel. I don't know. I've never been in a scientist herd, but I assume that's what they do. So they're running their time travel experiments in Muriel's house because, because her husband was one of the scientists. So he tested it out in their basement, which he had to do secretly because there's no way Muriel would have let him do that. In fact, that was one of her house rules, was no testing out time travel experiments in the basement. But you know, husbands will husband, and he did it anyway. He figured it was just a little bit of time travel, you know, not like a lot of time travel. But anyways, so they get stuck in like a time loop because the experiment went horribly wrong, obviously. Remember, we're making a haunted hidey hole here, not like a everything is fine happy hole. So obviously the experiment went terribly wrong, and everybody, including Muriel, are trapped in the house, reliving the same day over and over, but everything's still decaying at the same speed. So even though that their house is growing older, they're not. And no matter how much cleaning they do, they can't get rid of the mold, which is the real horror story here. And the mold feeds off of their energy and the trapped souls inside of the time loop, because this is time loop mold, not regular mold, which is apparently different. So now they have to decide if they're going to outlive their house or if their house will outlive them. Anyways, here's the final look. What do you guys think? So this is the last miniature of my cheap miniatures that I bought on Amazon. And again, we're not going to follow instructions because instructions are for lamey lamos who are lame. I don't know. I'm just kidding. If you follow instructions, I actually implore you. Applaud. I applaud you because I can't follow instructions. I get bored reading the title of these miniatures. I didn't even realize what they were called until somebody pointed out that they were called something funny, which this is not a sponsored video, so I can't really tell you what they're actually called. Well, I mean, I could, but I don't really stand by these miniatures. I mean, they're cool, but they definitely have some quality issues, and I don't sponsor them at all. I just want to make their stuff. Anyways, let's get back to this miniature. I didn't mean to go off topic so much. Oh my god, it's a spider. Oh yeah. So I'm doing a cafe, and it was supposed to be like a coffee cafe, but that's boring. Oh look, they want me to make a little thing of straws, but I did not feel like cutting the wire and stripping it for the straw part, so I'm gonna make flowers. Okay, so instead of coffee, I'm thinking like a witch's cafe. You know, like a place for your local witch to stop and drink some tea, because I assume witches drink tea over coffee. Actually, that's probably not true. I don't know. Tea seems more witchy than coffee anyways. So these are the little tea containers, which I painted. And like the tops are little button nipples. Can I say that? I don't know if I can say that. And then I got to make little teacups, which is the biggest pain. Oh my gosh, this wire does not want to stay on the teacup. I know I make it look easy, but trust me, that took me like 17 tries. I didn't even do the second teacup. And then every little witch's cafe needs amethyst because it's purple and I love amethyst, and that's a good enough reason for me. And next I'm going to do the lights because we need to light up our tea hut. Is it a tea hut? I have no idea where that word came from, but I like it. So I'm kind of envisioning this, I guess we're calling it a tea hut. Witch's hut? Yeah, I'm going to go with witch's hut. I'm kind of envisioning this witch's hut as like a place you would stop and talk to other witches and, you know, pick up different potions and elixirs. Are those the same thing? Pretty sure a potion is an elixir, but an elixir is not a potion. So you would stop and drink your tea and like get all the gossip. You know, the witchy gossip. Who put a hex on who and who got a circle window this week? Spoiler, it wasn't me. But look at my circle sign. I had to replace the coffee symbol with something, so I just went with like the 3 spiral symbol. And then I built the cute little counter where the witches would sit at. But a clean counter would be boring, so we're gonna clutter it up. And then look at the little vase I'm adding with little sticks. Or I mean wands. Didn't you know that it's impolite to not leave your witch's wand at the door? And then we need a spell book. Look, I do realize it says Treasure Island, but nobody's gonna know, okay? Look, I flipped it over. It could be the Treasure Island spell book. I don't know. Okay, so now I'm just adding it to the base, which I add a second base because otherwise the battery's just sitting there in the open and I don't know if that's an issue. So I cover it. And check out my little tarot cards. Look, every witch's hut needs a couple tarot cards, right? And also they're super cute. So yeah. And then I'm using the glue cap and a marble to make a fortune teller ball, a crystal ball, that's the word. Okay, so maybe I should come up with a story because I don't know what else to talk about. And you all seem to like my stories, though I have no idea why. Most of them are pretty terrible. So I guess here's another terrible story. So the owner of this tea shop, this witch's tea shop, we'll just call him Bob. So Bob has been overcharging people for years at his witch's hut. And he's been running kind of a shady practice. And I don't mean that he was selling shades in the back. All right, that was a terrible joke. Anyways, so if you came in and you gave him like the code word, which the code word is octopus, by the way, he would give you black magic potions. And that's kind of a faux pas in the witches community here. But Bob has no standards. He's just in it for the money. And he has a fairy dust problem. So he needs a lot of money at the moment. So he's giving out as many black magic potions as he can. So one day Bob gave this girl, who we'll name Stacy, a black magic potion. Because look, Stacy was jealous of her mom, who apparently has it going on. And she was tired of her mom always stealing the boys. So she did what any young person would do. Buy a black magic potion from a super shady shop from a shady part of town. But Bob is overworked from all the black magic potions that he's been trying to pump out so that he can pay off his fairy dust debts. And he accidentally mixed up the word beauty with the super secret word octopus. So after drinking the potion, she turns into an octopus. And as you can imagine, she's not happy about that. And can you blame her? I mean, here she just wanted to be beautiful. And let's be honest, she was beautiful to begin with. But now she's an octopus, which, you know, is beautiful, but not quite what she was asking for. So she goes on a rampage and unalives Bob, who's the only person that can turn her back into a human. And so now she just hangs out at the witch's hut, hoping that somebody can turn her back. But it doesn't look too good for her. And all because Stacy's mom had it going on. Anyways, let's just take some final looks. And then some final looks on all 4.
I can see you from behind. You can hear me in your mind. Run so fast as you can go. Time will catch you.
Comment down below what your favorite miniature is, because, you know, that really helps me out. And I'm genuinely curious. And if you want to subscribe, hit that little subscribe button. Thanks. Okay, bye.